Welcome to Swolehammer. In today's video, we're going over the biggest winners for the 3rd edition Sylvaneth Battletome, newly released, or sprouted as some might say.
This is a book with a lot of bark and a lot of bite. Yowza.
Oof. Well, yeah, so let's just get straight into it. Starting with the biggest buff from the Battletome, which has to be the Awakened Wildwoods. Simply put, the 2nd edition Battletome relied so heavily on the Wildwoods, but you only had the Wildwoods to rely on and nothing else. Now with overgrown terrain features and so many ways to make more things that kind of substitute in as Wildwoods, there's a lot more combos and a lot easier effects to get off now.
Yeah, Places of Power now lets you establish 3 different overgrown terrain features on top of terrain features that just exist on the battlefield that are not in your opponent's territory, just at the beginning of the battle. So that's already 3 more places that you just get for free that you can use to combo on. This is also not to mention that there's 2 new battle tactics for Sylvaneth specifically that are pretty easy that just involve destroying units near an Awakened Wildwood or an overgrown terrain feature. So there's just a lot to love here.
Yeah, and this creates a lot of protection, a lot of bonus damage, and a lot of good movement synergies for Sylvaneth, which they're initially lacking because they're just a castle army. Now they have many ways to play. On to the next category, which is Best New Unit. And simply put, it is the Lady of Vines. For 325 points, she does more than what a lot of 400-point units can do. While the other new units like Gossamer Archers and the Spite Rider Lancers / Revenant Seekers are a cool addition to the army, something must be said for the absolutely immense war scroll that the Lady of Vines carries.
Yeah, for, being the cutoff arm of Alariel, you could say that she was holding Alariel back, but I think it was kind of the other way around. Alariel was holding her back. For the value of the model, she's honestly just leaps and bounds, I would argue, better than Alariel.
Absolutely. She acts as a mobile Wildwood. She can, on a 2-up, bring a free unit of Dryads once per battle.
She also gets a spell that's just, it's casting value 7, and then she just becomes a hot spot for 12 inches of 5-up ward for any of your Sylvaneth that are just within that bubble. You just get a 5-up ward on everything within 12 inches.
Yeah, and on top of that, she is cast 2, unbind 2. An absolute powerhouse of a model. While the other new models are cool, she is absolutely insane, and she should honestly be a lot of your focus in your Sylvaneth list, at least if you want spells.
Absolutely.
So on to the most interesting unit, non-leader, and it's actually funny because we mentioned this unit earlier, and it is the Spite Rider Lancers / Revenant Seekers. While with Harvest Boon subfaction, they can get a pregame 12-inch move on top of their already insane 12-inch move with Fly, and also a very beefy attack profile.
Yeah, they're also just super durable, which is kind of what you're getting at. They have a 4-up save, which is already pretty good. They have a feature called Thrumming with Life that lets you heal all of your wounds allocated to this model if you kill another model during any phase. The Revenant Seekers also can just return a slain model to a unit within 12 inches every turn just on a 2-up. So it's just, they're really annoying to kill. They can kind of be anywhere that you need them on the board. They just seem like a lot of fun to play with, and I feel like Sylvaneth hasn't had something that crazy mobile before.
Right, and that being said, they are expensive for what they do. They are over 200 points in a unit of 3, but at the same time, they definitely have a stacked enough war scroll to really pay for that price. The reason why they're mentioned here as most interesting and kind of came second to Lady of Vines is just because while they are good, it is interesting because getting super mobile cavalry in Sylvaneth that can also get a pregame move with a certain subfaction kind of works not against the way Sylvaneth want to play, but it doesn't synergize with a lot of things in particular. So in a bubble, they're good, but it's interesting to see how they will come out in the future.
Yeah, it's a completely new concept of a unit for Sylvaneth, which is kind of fun to see. I'm interested to see what people do with them.
Next on our list is the most interesting unit in the Battletome, Leader, and that is Spirit of Durthu. I have a soft spot for Durthu because it's one of the coolest models and what got me into Sylvaneth into the first place. And in the previous iteration, he was cool but a little mopey. Now he is definitely more of the gigantic beatstick that he's always meant to be.
Yeah, better save. He now has 2 more wounds. Massive Impaling Talons is not completely useless as anything other than just a weird slot machine.
It was a silly ability previously.
Yeah, the Brackening is a lot less hardcore on him, so he stays good for much longer. The bonus Guardian Sword attacks, instead of being D3, it's only a bonus of 1, but it's a lot easier to achieve, especially with, the Wildwoods and...
As we previously mentioned.
Yeah, the Overgrown Terrain features. It's just way easier to pull that off to get those extra attacks on the Guardian Sword, which is your best attack profile.
Yeah, he'll couple well with Lady Vines, as we talked about before, as just an absolute monster that he is supposed to be on the board. And with a certain subfaction that we're going to talk about maybe in a second, Oakenbrow, he pretty much doesn't bracket at all until he's almost done already. So, Spirit of Durthu, good job on the glow up.
Big time.
And lastly, for our biggest winner, the most fun addition to the Battletome is just the new battle line options, the plethora of new battle line options. Baseline, we have the Dryads and Tree Revenants. We actually lost the Spite Revenants. They're exclusive to Dreadwood now. However, Kurnoth Hunters and Heartwood, Revenant Seekers / Spite Rider Lancers and Harvest Boon, and Tree Lords and Oakenbrow make up a very cool cavalcade of tree folk that you can choose from for your lists.
Yeah, I just love the idea that you could just have Tree Lords as battle line. That's ridiculous to me. It's so elite and so fun.
And also, that being said, the subfaction abilities are very cool with these new battle line options, which make just an absolute ball with kind of like building Sylvaneth lists in interesting and different ways.
Yeah, so I think honestly moving forward, we're going to see a lot more build diversity for Sylvaneth. There's a lot more things that you could potentially see on the board. And I think just more fun, viable ways to play a faction is just always going to be a good thing.
Absolutely. As we mentioned before with Durthu and other monsters like the Tree Lords and the Tree Lord Ancient, they just don't bracket nearly as much. So you can see cool monster mass lists that we always wanted to see. Kurnoth becoming battle line frees up space so you can get synergies with that. The Revenant Seeker Spite Rider Lancers, like we said, we don't know how they'll really synergize with the armies, but having just a complete subfaction to play with and kind of figure that out is very cool. Also, Dreadwood continued to do well with kind of buffing Spite Revenants. Tree Revenants got buffed as well, but Spite Revenants get an extra boost in Dreadwood that you just love to see, like flavor-wise, thematic, lore-wise, all that good stuff is here, and the battle line options really pull it together.
Yeah, anyone who's been watching the videos on the channel knows that I'm a big fan of the Spite Revenants, so I just like to see any boost for them.
So that's it. Thanks for watching. If you like this kind of video, remember to check out our other stuff. We did this previously with Nighthaunt. If you want to see it with another 3rd edition Battletome that is coming out or is about to come out or has come out, please let us know, and don't forget to check out Starting Sigmar if you're just getting into this hobby. We are very passionate about all of our wargaming, Sigmar, Warcry, and Kill Team, so let us know in the comments what you'd like to see. As always, this is Rafiq and Riley with Swolehammer.
Time for us to make like a tree and leaf. Stay swole. Do that.